Hello and welcome. My name is Kiwa Jang, and I'm a member of the California Lawyers Association's Privacy Law section. I am delighted to be joined today by Nick Ginger. Nick is the Senior VP and Senior Counsel at City National Bank. In 2021, Nick joined the executive committee of the Privacy Law section and currently also helps lead the efforts of the CPRA working group. Today, Nick has graciously agreed to share with us a little bit about his background, his role in the privacy law section, and what his goals are for the coming years. So just to start off, can you talk a little bit about how you got into privacy?
Yeah, it is a question with many answers. There was not just one thing that piqued my interest. I have not always been practicing in privacy. I used to be a tax attorney. I spent more time to date. I've spent more time working in tax law than I have privacy, but the last 5 to 7 years I've been in privacy. And I would say it's a series of events. One, I noticed around 2015 a certain headline that was all over the news. It was the fall of the then data sharing agreement between the EU and the United States, the Safe Harbor Agreement, that gave rise to all sorts of sensationalist headlines that were very much attention grabbing. Around that same time, we began hearing a lot about this new data protection law in the EU, the GDPR. There is an excellent book I recommend to anybody called Future Crimes that just kind of details very unexpected ways which privacy can be, or which individuals' data can be used, often in harmful ways. I also had the benefit of working for a large tech company's data protection, third-party data protection group. So sort of all these things kind of came together. And frankly, privacy is in a field of law that I think has everything I've been looking for. Largely, it has that international component that I think is really interesting. Working in collaboration or, hopefully in cooperation with other countries, seeing these different laws evolve and how it's all connected together.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. And just a little bit about kind of how your career has developed. You mentioned, starting off at a company and then now you're at a bank, kind of the progression, what your thoughts were.
Thoughts of my career progression. I think I'm very lucky to be where I am now. I'm now finally at a place where I'm very thankful every day for the opportunities that I have. I work with a spectacular company, for a spectacular company, and an amazing group of people. I do work that I am fascinated by and generally interested in every day. I'm still waiting for the moment where I see something I think, well, this is kind of boring. That hasn't happened yet. I don't think privacy right now is ever going to be boring. But it's sort of a long, convoluted history. And I'm going to say it just is a path that ultimately led me to where I think where I know I'm supposed to be. So I'm very grateful for that.
For sure, yeah. Just to switch gears a little bit, you mentioned kind of being part of the privacy law section. What kind of initially drew you to be part of the section?
So I mentioned I've been involved in privacy for about 5 to 7 years. And of course, I was a member of the California State Bar, and they had a section that had a privacy part to it, but it was not a dedicated privacy section. At that time, I was working, in the last 2 years, I was working with the International Association of Privacy Professionals, and I was developing educational programs and events. I thought it was really interesting, and I became mildly frustrated that California did not have a dedicated privacy section. I started talking to other people about what would be involved in developing that section, which seemed a bit of a lofty goal considering there hadn't been any new sections in decades. All those efforts were put on hold around March of 2020. Around that time, I think a lot of our priorities shifted. I didn't really look at it again until a year or two later when I saw that people had actually created the privacy law section. And I was both incredibly excited and also disappointed that I didn't keep on that path and be part of that initial group of people. But when I found out that the privacy section had launched, I immediately tried to do everything everything I could think of to get involved. I think it's an amazing opportunity, not just to launch a new section, but also to build out the area of privacy expertise.
Right, definitely. Um, and what do you hope to see accomplished by the privacy law section going forward?
Yeah, there's a lot. As I mentioned, it's a new section, so I think initially the big goal is to build out the membership,
Mhm.
to increase awareness. Hopefully now people are becoming more and more aware of the section. I think the first year it was offered to members of the state bar for free.
Oh, wow.
Last year, I think, was the first year that we had paid membership. And it was really exciting because we didn't see our membership drop. So folks who joined initially for free saw the benefit of paying up for another year. So hopefully that will continue. Other goals, we, not just for myself, but I think all of us on the executive committee really want to build out the section as a trusted resource, not just for attorneys in practice in the area of privacy, but also for the California legislature. You mentioned earlier, I'm helping develop comments on the CPRA on behalf of the privacy law section of the CLA. We've offered comments on other pieces of legislation. One of our members was very, very active in the California Age Appropriate Design Code Act. He really led that effort, and I didn't have a whole lot to do with that, but the point is the section was able to offer commentary on it, and that is something that I hope we can continue.
Definitely. And when you're not practicing law, where can people find you?
Well, I recently, it's been over a year now, moved to Carlsbad, North San Diego County, where I grew up. We left San Francisco, as did many families with small children, and moved to a place that had more space for my two small children and my wife and myself. It was also an opportunity to be closer to my family. So yeah, Southern California, back here where I started.
Amazing. Yeah, it went full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah, and before we just kind of close out here, do you have any advice for kind of young lawyers or law students hoping to break into privacy?
Yeah, I think I definitely take advantages of the opportunities that you have. When I was in law school, not so recently, there really wasn't a lot in terms of privacy law, and what did exist, I think, was named sort of in the vein of like computer science law or something like that. Now, my understanding is there are a lot of opportunities. I very much encourage law students to get on the distribution email list for both the privacy law section of CLA and also the IAPP. I really kind of see if this is an area that you find interesting. I couldn't imagine that you would not find it really interesting. It is kind of going through the notion of privacy law is going through a rebirth right now. I mean, certainly privacy law has been around for quite some time, but what we're seeing now in terms of these comprehensive laws and bills, I think it's an amazing time to really get involved in something at the beginning stages.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds all amazing. And I think definitely you're right about it going through its new phase.
Yeah.
Yeah, new laws popping up everywhere.
More to
Well,
be
thank
seen for
you
sure.
so much.
Absolutely. There's a lot more on the horizon.
Yeah, more to look out for. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.